I'm making a map to play Risk on my wall. I played Risk for the first time over the weekend and I thought it was really great. So I'm making a giant wall map. It's 9 feet wide by 6 feet tall. And right now I have a grid, 6-inch squares marked out. And I have a grid of a Risk map that I have marked out as well, so I'm just gonna draw it in and then I'll tell you how I'm gonna do it later. So I now have I've got Asia and it's like Indonesia, New Guinea, and Australia. There's Madagascar, and there's Africa. Going into Europe, Northern Europe, all that stuff. There's Iceland, and I'm going to sleep. Okay, so I'm done with doing the grid. The pennies I just laid down just to make sure I kept track of all the countries and could count them afterwards. So that's it in pencil, at least. And now I'm gonna go over it with a Sharpie. Sharpie.
From that day, the hunted became the huntress. The hunter became the prey.
Okay, so I've painted the water on. It was sort of like a water base. I just took a regular latex paint and watered it down a lot, but it really bled, like a lot. I really didn't expect it to bleed that much, so that sort of gives me a little bit of a problem on what color I'm going to, and how I'm going to paint in the countries. The pennies I'm using right now just as some sort of visual indication for my own mind of what order I'm going to paint the countries in, because I want all the different territories on a continent to be a slightly different shade of the same color. So like I'll start with Western Australia, and then I think the next one was New Guinea, and then Indonesia, and then Eastern Australia. The pennies have gotten a little knocked around. But this is what it's looking like so far. I also might just end up keeping it on the floor because I'm having trouble with magnetic paint. That's what I was going to use, because then you need really expensive magnets to stick them, and I don't want to have 600 little magnets on 600 little pieces. But I might also try like a foam core or like a cardboard behind it, so then I could stick it on my wall or on that wall and then stick pieces to it, but I haven't fully decided yet. So I just filled in white on top of the blue because I think it'll really help me when it comes time to painting the individual colors. But it took a really long time, and I think this is going to be a real... Someone said, oh, this must be a very detailed project, and I said, well, it's a very pain-in-the-ass project. Right, so I'm getting ready to start mixing all the different colors for the different territories. I've laid out different mixing bowls and the paints that I'm going to use. I think what I decided to do was paint on this side and then do the magnetic paint on the underside so that I don't have any trouble with painting over a very dark gray surface. And I'm just going to make it mostly white with just tints of the colors, and that's what I'm going to do. So here we have everything's been painted in, all the different countries. I just finished with Asia. I had a little trouble, you can see, distinguishing between Western Europe and I guess that's Northern Europe. Same thing with some of the countries in Asia. I just had trouble mixing up the different colors. And actually that yellow there is just the pure yellow, and a little trouble with the different shades of pink. That was a little pink spot that I tried to just sort of color in over with a little more watercolor. it just made it look worse. So I think that might be where the O in ocean is gonna be. But that's where we're at so far. I don't know if I can get it all in, but yeah, being fucking close. So I've flipped it over and I've painted 4 coats of this magnetic paint on the back where all of the territories are, and that provides should be a pretty good surface on the front for the magnets to stick to through the canvas. Right, so here we are now. Got it on the wall. There's a few, you know, that's a game piece potentially right now. It's about just a 1-inch cube. I might cut it down for a standard 1-unit piece, but there's just some little other magnets that are sticking to the wall. I ended up using about 4 coats of the magnetic paint and then just did a clear coat finish so it wouldn't mark up my wall very much. But that's it so far, and then I just have to letter in everything, and yeah. Okay, so I think I'm done with the map portion. As you can see, I've inked in the country names and re-inked all the boundaries to make it a little better to see. And I might end up going over those with a thicker Sharpie, but I think that's pretty much it. I just have to make the little game pieces now, which shouldn't be that difficult, just a little time consuming and tedious.